Cuba's my hometown. I actually grew up, I was born and raised in Cuba. Left the area for a number of years, lived in a number of different places, raised my children just down the road and only in New York. But as my kids have grown up, I decided to move back to my hometown. I've been active with the Palmer almost since its inception in some way, shape, or form. I brought the first theater performance to it wasn't even a Palmer performance, but I brought it to the Palmer. We did a musical review called The Grand Night for Singing, and we brought that in to raise them some money. I've done just about every job there is to do at the Palmer.
So, well, as a musician, that's probably our lot in life, right?
It
Wherever
is.
we go, we end up just
Well, I end up being the default MC for our teen trivia nights and for our open mic nights and when we have concerts
well,
and
I'm
things.
gonna see you again. I thought I would only. So I thought this was like a one-off.
I probably live there about only a little bit less than Michelle. I spend a lot of time at the Palmer.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, I'll be seeing you a lot then.
Yeah.
I thought this was like the only time I could get you.
No. I'm there all the time.
Oh, that's cool. So you do the open mics then?
I do
And
the.
then so you MC
So I run sound. I do tech for open mics and for various concerts. I MC various events. I volunteer for pretty much every event possible. I make soup. I make cookies.
So you're
I'm there in the
there.
summertime out cooking hot dogs out on the street. Whatever's
awesome.
needed for the Palmer, I'm usually there and available.
And so you've been really, so just you telling me that means you've been involved with this probably from its inception, correct?
Not quite the very beginning. So, I mean, the actual space has been around for 18 years, but I think Michelle brought me in probably 7 or 8 years ago. So I've been there for probably about
That's
8
a
years.
lot. So and did you know Michelle prior to her?
I did. So she being a local Cuban as well, our families knew each other very well.
Right.
She's a couple years older than me. I went to school with her younger sister. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the folks in town. It's interesting to come to an event like this chamber event tonight because a lot of these folks, even though I've moved back, I haven't run across, and they come up
You
to
haven't
me.
seen them.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been back in town for just a little over 2 years.
Okay.
So,
Oh, so you've been involved with the Palmer for let's say 8, and then you just.
and I just recently moved back home.
So were you in Buffalo or?
I was living in Olean. I lived in Syracuse. I lived in Pennsylvania, a couple different places. So, I was living in Olean at the time and driving to Buffalo for work. So, but I would come back and do events
So you're
here.
doing what Paul was doing. Or is it?
Essentially, yeah, I did it before he did, but now I work from home, which makes it very convenient. I live 2.5 blocks from the Palmer,
That's
so
at the end of my day, that's my fantasy to live in a town like this and just have my.
it's really, it's great. And again, I was telling my daughter throughout tonight, I said, so Rick Hall, who was a Citizen of the Year, graduated with my older sister. Ed Zoller, who was accepting one of the awards. I worked on his family farm when I was a kid, so it's really neat to see a lot of the folks that I've known for many years now in a new light as a fully fledged adult. So.
And then, so in the Palmer is really like, it's almost articulated the town to a degree, right? It's more than just defining it, like it's articulated.
I think that's the big key to the Palmer. I think the Palmer has been, for lack of a better term, the linchpin to rebuilding the downtown.
Right.
My goal as the new president is to take what Mike's vision was, which is expand the services, make it a true community center.